Hello and welcome to this edition of the Time with Hime podcast. I'm your host, Lynn Cordes, joined by our superintendent, Mr. Hime. We're in our last week of April.
Yeah, can you believe it? May's here. Graduation's right around the corner. And wow, COVID update. We started this podcast, video cast. There's no terminology. We started our video cast with COVID updates. We kind of said today, 0 positives in the district, student or staff. That's 15,000 people, 0 positives. Hey, shout out to our teachers and students for social distancing, washing their hands, wearing masks, and getting
vaccinations if they can.
Yes, and all the right things. And let's get to graduation. And then, our plan is we're going to roll in next year in August and be right back to normal. So shout out to everybody for working hard to getting us to 0 and 0, and we're excited about it. And 3 more weeks, and we'll be
there.
Home. Yes,
we're there.
Exciting.
And graduation's coming up, and we've had some proms that have gone on already, and that's been nice for the seniors.
Awards ceremony. I got one from Lawton. They're doing theirs the 10th, and I'm sure I'll get something from Senior Awards on the 10th. I'll get something MacArthur and Eisenhower quickly. But, all that's going to be going on. And so, our goal is to keep on keeping on just like we are.
That's right.
Let's get through graduation, and then we'll get back to normal next year.
We're hoping. We're ready.
Yes.
We're ready.
Knock on wood. Knock on wood.
We're getting there.
Knock on wood.
So let's talk about some of the things that we pushed out this week. And I know we just want to make some clarifications for anybody. And that starts with our modified dress code for our elementaries.
Hey, that's kind of a interesting topic for me, because when I got hired as the superintendent, one of the first things when I met with the principals were, what are you going to do about the dress code? What are you going to do about the dress code? And I'm like, well, what dress code? Well, we got a modified dress code. So in walking around, I would ask, what it is, and different principals enforced it differently. And I came up with, hey, as a superintendent, I'm not as concerned what the dress code is, but we do need to enforce it equally or with equity across the district. So, in talking to the principals and looking around the district, no one was enforcing it. And then with the COVID and the isolations and the quarantines, really, the enforcement just went to 0 this year. So the discussion was had with teachers in buildings that they voted. None of the buildings, maybe one, wanted to keep it. We put out a survey to parents, and it was 60+% were against it. So, we decided we're going to roll in the next year, go back to the normal. We still have high expectations for how our students dress. We want them to dress appropriately. But as far as stripes and jeans and polka dots and some of those things, we won't be enforcing those again. And we're going to work through that a year or two and see how that works. And then if for some reason it's a problem that didn't exist this year, we may have to reevaluate. But our goal is to open that up to parents, because we heard from a lot of parents the struggle, if their kid changed clothes size 2 or 3 times in a year, not only the struggle to purchase the clothes, but to find clothes that fit that modified dress code. Jeans are easy to find. Sometimes the others are hard. So we're going to work at this and see. We've worked with our buildings. And so hopefully, we can try this next year and it'll all go great.
And as long as they're, they meet the guidelines with no holes above their, knees and all of that, we'll put a graphic out for our families as the new school year starts. So.
But basically, if they dress as they'd go to church, they're going to be fine. Shorts, make sure they're not too short. And if they're wearing sleeveless, they get to really not, we don't like sleeveless.
Not the spaghetti strap.
Not the spaghetti strap, right. And it gets to be, we can have a common sense. Just make sure you know what your kids are wearing. We weren't doing it in the middle school or the high school anyway.
Right.
So those are really the people who had, my understanding is that's where the elementaries wanted to go ahead and do away with it, because it was put on originally for the middle school and the high school, and the only place it was ever enforced was elementary. So there was a lot of confusion, and a little bit of that comes in the defense of staff and principals, is you had 3 superintendents in 3 years. And when you have, my job is to enforce the policy. Well, when the policy's not being enforced, it's either to rewrite the policy at the board's discretion for approval, or enforce the policy we have. So we've kind of gone through our policy book. We've adjusted a lot of the policies, and now we're going to get policies we can enforce. And so our expectations will still be to enforce a proper dress code, but just not the modified as it was.
And as we're talking about change, the one thing that is important that has been our goal this year, in keeping with the flexibility and adaptability. Now, share some of the things that, as we look forward to next school year and even into the summer, of our change and why it's important that we keep moving forward.
Well, and that's one thing as a superintendent when I was hired, and I had the discussion with the board, they were looking for, they saw the same thing we just talked about, that the district had kind of gotten stagnant with, different leadership at different levels. How do we get some consistency in leadership, but how do we move forward and advance? How do we get to one-to-one? How do we get more technology and tools to our teachers? One of the things I've always said, when adages are great, but if you put some of them together, you come up with a different philosophy, such as there's a lot of people say you cannot stay the same. You either have to be getting better or worse every day. But there's others that say you can't improve without changing. So if I can't stay the same and I can't improve without changing, when you put them together, if I'm not changing, then I'm regressing. So I have to change to continually to progress. So some of the things we're changing is trying to improve those educational opportunities. We're really excited about our maker spaces. We talk about those. We're really excited about what we're doing at the middle school, pushing down high school credit. We're also unveiling quickly a TAP program for students at there, which is a technology applications, to start introducing them to some hands-on learning. And then, of course, our Life Ready Center is going to be a game changer, and we think it's going to be a beacon in the state for the way people are doing things. And, that ultimate, the goal is that, some of the other things the Life Ready Center does, but one of the things you see across the state in other areas is students graduating with an associate's degree.
Yes, and that's exciting because for our families that have middle school children, we have to remind them that the course enrollment is taking place now, and so that we know where our students want to be. And there's so many more electives.
That was the ideal for middle school.
Yes.
Give them more valuable electives, and that's one thing we always talk about, valuable electives, things that are useful and not just electives.
And changing,
Yep.
it was exciting to enroll,
As a middle school parent,
look at all the options.
And you get a little say, and we talk to other parents, but that's why we invite people to email us and ask questions for the podcast or video cast. That because I rely a lot on because my kids are grown and I have grandkids, and I think about how my grandkids would react, but also a lot rely on the people in the office who have students and their opinions and how things affect them. So if people have opinions, it's good to get. Speaking of change, video cast, as we started changing the word,
Yes.
The one thing we want to do is start having a guest.
Yes.
So, if you're somebody you got questions of besides Lynn or myself, hey, shoot us an info. I'd love to see Miss Oates show up and
Talk about Life Ready Center.
Charlotte can come in and talk about the Life Ready. We'll have a third person.
Or Miss Vanessa talk about the maker spaces.
Maker spaces, sure. We could bring Regan or Dr. James or one of the middle school principals in to talk about the middle school curriculum. So if there's anybody you would like to hear from, a coach, the athletic director, hey, we'll invite them to our podcast, and we can.
Let's step up our game.
Hey, we can invite pretty heavy-handed. It can be an invite requirement, type thing. We have
had Brandy Combs from the health department on here before.
And that went over well whenever we had her. So yeah, we're excited about that. So shoot us some emails and we'll advance our podcast, video cast to having a guest every now and then.
And let's talk about what's happening in the next few weeks. Well, one thing that I'm really excited about is the partnership and collaboration that we're doing with Vista and the mall, and what's going to take place there in a couple weeks.
Have a robotics contest. It's on Wednesday the 12th, I believe.
Yes, our junior robotics for elementary, which is really cool.
Yep, they're going to do it at the mall. The competition will be there, so that's exciting to move. Again, that's our STEM, talking about GT classes at every elementary. We're talking about improving our arts and programs at our elementaries. We're just excited about getting better every day.
And next week, we're going to have a celebration for our staff, our district celebration on Tuesday, May 4th, which is really exciting. That's where we'll do our Champions for Children, our first class teachers, and the announcement of our Teacher of the Year.
And it's Teacher Appreciation Week.
Yes, we got to thank a teacher, and we've got some great things coming up. I know our community partners are ready to celebrate.
Oh, so exciting that we can be face-to-face again. I still say it, getting to go to Freedom and be in person watching young people perform is one of the things I love about being the superintendent, and getting to go to these banquets and award ceremonies and things and graduations and being in person and seeing that happen. Really looking forward to it.
Well, and what's great for us for next week, especially as our Teacher Appreciation Week approaches, is that our teachers were here from the very beginning, with our students. Man. We don't. Some students were just coming back face-to-face after spring break.
They deserve teacher appreciation. We never went A-B schedule. We never wavered. We did miss some days, but it was because of ice and weather. I think we had maybe one virtual day due to COVID numbers and teacher absences in the district at one site. Man, it's been our teachers they stepped up to the plate every day.
Some went virtual to help our kids that wanted to be virtual this year.
And our virtual teachers have done a great job. I've heard some great stories about the relationships they've built and the contacts. So, just staff, bus drivers every day, got them here.
Yes.
Cooks, cooking. Hey, our cooks even
That's right. Tell them
over
about summer
spring
school.
bugs.
Summer meat meals. Meals.
So we're doing the summer feed again over the summer. So we're going to do it at numerous locations. So you'll be able to find food. Hey, and the great news about that is the USDE, or the government,
USDA, yeah.
DA, they just came out with, everybody got to eat free this year. Guess what? All next year, it looks like every child will get to eat free again. So we're going to feed 100%. So again, our breakfast during the day kind of started off. People were worried about it, but now all of our kids eat, and now they're getting to walk through the line and getting choices. Hey, they love it when they can choose a good breakfast and get started. And we know breakfast can be the most important meal of the day. So we are excited. And again, everyone getting to eat free is great for the district, and we're excited about that.
And we will have flyers out there for our summer meal sites. And then, of course, the students that are taking place in summer school, they'll have breakfast and lunch available to them before they leave.
That'll be awesome. You get to come to school, eat breakfast, summer school, lunch after. And the YMCA is going to help us a little bit and have some programs and work in conjunction with us for after summer school. So that'll be great.
Now, let's talk about celebrations on what we're going to recognize as we head. Our podcasts are ending. Are you a little sad? They're going. We only have a few more weeks, and then we'll take a break.
We can do podcasts over the summer.
We could.
We started in June.
How about we take it to the classrooms and see what's going on? We try something a little bit different.
Yeah, that'd be a great time to bring in some new people, some new principals, new administrators. It'd be great to talk to some of our office staff and people. So we're going to bring in some guests over the summer. I think we keep it going weekly. We probably got 5 or 10 listeners who tune in every week.
Yes, so thank you guys. We really appreciate it.
We do. It really has been good to us, because I know there's quite a few of you who tune in, and I appreciate the fact that this was your idea. I take credit for most ideas, but this was yours, and you talked me into doing this. And
really, it was supposed to be your podcast. I was supposed to be behind
but it's really
scenes.
Worked out great for us, and we really think we're getting information out. And again, I've got a saying that I've always used: if we don't tell our story, someone else will.
Correct.
And we want to get you. We don't try to hide things. We don't want to be. We want to be transparent. So again, I don't know that anybody's asked a question through info at lawtonps.org that we have not answered on this podcast, or at least emailed them back with an answer, because we want to get that out there. And if people have questions, a lot of times your question is something that 5 or 10, 50, 60, 100 people have. So please send us those. So now you got 2 reasons to email us. 1, you're going to email us any questions you have, end of the year, started next year type questions, summertime questions. 2, hey, email if you got somebody you would like to see on the podcast and what kind of questions you want us to ask them.
And special guests. Yes, we like
special
that.
guests. It'd be fun to give somebody the third, between you and I, we can get somebody the 3rd degree on this
there
podcast.
There we go.
Yes.
It'll be fun and get some more, faces out there of what's going on.
More information.
That's
and
it.
More celebration. So yeah, very exciting.
Anything else you want to add before we head into the weekend, sir?
Again, I'm about to wrap up my first year as Lawton
Superintendent.
Believe it. Can you believe that? And again, when I took the job, anytime you take a job, there's reasons why you took a job and what do you fix. But this, from the parents to the staff to the administration, through what we've gone, shout out to all of you. This place is awesome, a great community, the support for the school. Yeah, shout out, think about the Foundation Golf Tournament. They had to put it together kind of late because they couldn't have their normal banquet. It just got overwhelming in support. We've got, from everything we've done, we've got great support. So shout out to everyone. We just, we're going to keep moving forward, and we're going to keep getting better every day. We have that saying, you don't have to be bad to get better, and we're going to get better every day.
And I am looking forward to all the wonderful things that our students are going to get an opportunity at having that. Those are just a lot of different things.
If you hear of a student that got to do something at a school, hey, email us. We're going to find a way for ours, because we're not second to anyone. Lawton Public School students should not be second to any other student.
Congratulations to Joseph Morris. When you just reminded him, KSWO did a story on him, and he went to state robotics. So,
awesome.
Really, STEM is going on, and, opportunities are happening for our kids in all kinds of areas. FFA is doing wonderful. Athletics we're doing a lot of celebrations, and we're getting ready to celebrate our academia, with our 30 plus and ACT scores, and just national merits, all of that's coming up in our
We've
next
got
board
it all.
meeting.
We got superstar academic students. We got superstar athletics, superstars in the arts. We just got kids that are superstars in a lot of ways, and a lot of teachers that are responsible for that, from the pre-K to seniors. You know, we always say graduation is a celebration for the seniors. Those seniors had a pre-K teacher, a kindergarten teacher, a first grade teacher, all the way through their senior year. Bus drivers, cooks. Custodians, a lot
Secretaries,
of people,
nurses,
nurses. There's a lot of people who have a hand in that student walking across that stage. And so we should all celebrate together getting the 900 plus students we're going to get across the stage here in a couple of weeks. So everybody take part in it and get excited, and we're excited.
Mr. Hime, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
your time. Thank you guys for your time. Until next week, we will see you then. Be safe, make positive impacts, and have a great weekend.
See you next week.